People like games.
The way I see it, there are two types of sports video gamers. There's a hardcore sports gamer. That's a kid who's always got the latest console, but his shelves are filled exclusively with the last 5 years worth of Madden, NHL, MLB The Show, you name it. Then there's a guy like me, who only plays sport video games if they've got some cutesy Nintendo IP attached and some funky, hyper unrealistic qualities to them. Now, with a sequel 15 years in the making right around the corner, I figured it's a good time to talk about one of the best parts of the Mario franchise, the Striker series. So let's get into it. To get started, we've got to go all the way back to 1987 with the release of NES Open Tournament Golf, known in Japan as Mario Open Golf. While it was his first sport game to bear the Mario title, it was barely anything other than a reskinned golf game with Mario assets. The next attempt, unfortunately, came with the failed Virtual Boy with 1995's Mario's Tennis, yet another simple tennis game with a Mario skin. Things started to change in 1999 though, with the release of Mario Golf for the N64, bringing Mario Sports into 3D and solidifying the branding of nearly all future Mario sports games. As more games kept popping up, the wacky vibe of the Marioverse began to come through. Staple power-ups like mushrooms and bananas would find their way into the games, making Mario sports games begin to occupy their own niche outside of the traditional sports games. This was especially important due to the nature of their development. Mario sports games are mostly handled by outside developers. Trying to keep things in-house would only slow down production of Mario games, which is an obvious no-no for Nintendo. So when it came time for Mario to try soccer, Next Level Games was tapped for the project. Next Level Games was a fairly new studio. Founded in 2002, they'd only created one game before working with Nintendo, and that was 2003's NHL Hitz Pro. The game was known for being the more realistic hockey game of the time. Most arcade hockey games featured 3-on-3 gameplay, while Hitz Pro tried to emulate the NHL with 5-on-5 action and was noticeably hard-hitting compared to all the other games. Now you may ask, but Reggie, you just said Mario sports games occupy their own niche by being unrealistic. So why is a company known for their realistic game working on this? That's because Strikers was originally intended to be more realistic. Next Level Games had begun with this idea in mind, but after speaking with Nintendo, of course things changed, going with the more over-the-top final design we all love about Mario Sports. This, I believe, is where the true essence of Mario Strikers lies and what makes it arguably the best Mario Sports series. The success of Hitz Pro's more aggressive style was a direct influence on the creation of Strikers, and it's obvious if you've played the game. To keep the speed of the game up, penalties were omitted in favor of an item system. You could choose to tackle any player at any time, but if you hit someone who isn't carrying the ball, the opposing team is rewarded an item. Other traditional rules of soccer were omitted to give the game a more arcade style, somewhat reining in the realism Next Level Games was originally known for. Having already experienced what balancing teams and players was like in their first game, Next Level Games was able to find a good balance of stats for all the players and sidekicks in the game, giving a real sense of diversity and playstyle variations. The experience that Next Level Games brought to the table, combined with Nintendo's eye for fun and goofy projects, ultimately led to one of Mario's most exciting spin-off games. So after 13 months of development, Strikers were released for GameCube on November 18, 2005, receiving pretty average critical reviews. While everyone loved the gameplay, it was hard to ignore the slim amount of map variety and extra modes. However, it was pretty easy to overlook these faults with such a fun and accessible version of the most popular sport in the world, which is what kept Strikers series on people's minds for the last 15 years since the release of its sequel, Mario Strikers Charged for the Wii. Strikers may not have the most games under its belt as a sub-franchise of Mario, but the excitement surrounding Mario Strikers Battle League is just too hot to ignore. The fast-paced, action-packed game is easily the most intense Mario Sports series of them all, yet Nintendo's simplicity comes through every time you pick up the game and realize how easy it is to jump right into a match. So let's see if it gets the revival it deserves. Maybe then we'll finally get a follow-up to the best Mario game of all time, Mario Hoops 3-on-3. But that's me getting ahead of myself. That's all for this one, folks. Like, share, subscribe, all that YouTuber stuff I'm supposed to say, and I'll be back soon with more story mode. Peace.